Hey guys, thank you for joining us back out here again at the Range Report, and today we're bringing you a little bit of an unconventional review. You can see that this is not our conventional range either. This is actually my backyard here in North Carolina. And the reason we're here rather than out at the range is I had a little mishap a couple of weeks ago and I wound up breaking my ankle pretty good at my job, and it's relegated me to being kind of stuck in the house. So can't really get out to the range to bring you the conventional reviews that we would, but at least it gave me the opportunity to sit back, watch some news, see a bit of, a little bit of what's going on in the world. And we came across a story that kind of, boy, we're so happy we came across this one. It seems that in New York City, the 44th precinct, the good officers, the steadfast patrolmen of the 44th precinct, saved New York City from a horrendous scourge of gel blaster BB guns. All right, now, I don't know if you're familiar with what gel blaster BB guns are or not. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But we can introduce one to you today. And we're going to go through a couple of the little features and quirks about them so you guys understand exactly how absolutely horrific and dangerous these maniacal weapons of war are. Well, this is 10,000 rounds of ammunition. This, 10,000 rounds. This little blue bag, about 1/4 of an inch thick, 2 inches by 2 inches, 10,000 rounds. Now what you do with these is you put them in a container and you fill the container with water. And somewhere between 4 and 6 hours later, you wind up with this. A container full of little BBs. It's like a miracle of science. Well, these little BBs are composed of 99% water and 1% gelatin, 100% biodegradable, completely and totally harmless. And what these get fired from, all right, get ready. You might frighten you a little bit. I want you to, just be calm. Don't get excited. One of these. Now this is just one of the many, many models of gel blaster BB guns that are available on the market. And this one, I happened to pick up the phone about 10 minutes after reading the article about how the New York City Police Department confiscated one of these from a couple of kids out in the street who were, playing with a water pistol, because that's what this is. It's a water pistol. Maybe a little, not quite like a squirt, but pretty much essentially a water pistol. New York City decided to confiscate these and then cite a law that's from the municipal code about how any piston-driven, air-actuated, or pump rifle or combination thereof is considered an air rifle and therefore illegal. The weapon, they call this a weapon, is illegal. Now, to give you a little bit of information on one of these, it's not air-powered. There's a small electronic pump inside here that reciprocates at a very high rate of speed. And as it reciprocates, it pushes a lever which siphons a ball up into the firing chamber, and then the piston pops it out the front at a whopping 70 to 75 feet per second. And what happens on impact with these horrendous pieces of lung blaster ammunition is they just kind of evaporate into nothing when they hit their target. Now, New York City decided to make these illegal and confiscate them from kids in New York City. And we had people on both sides of the aisle that was saying that it was kind of ridiculous that they would do such a thing. And then we had the people that said, well, that could very easily be, a weapon. And when questioned, they said, well, what happens when they freeze the BBs? Well, all right, we actually took that into consideration, and we stuck a bunch of these in a Ziploc bag and we froze them. It turned into one giant block of ice that you can't possibly load into this thing. And then when it defrosted, they disintegrated into jello, which you can't fire from one of these. Nor do these things fire any other kind of projectile. You can't put BBs in them, can't put pellets in them, you can't put bullets in them. You can't put anything in them except these little gel blaster BBs that come from them. And then other people said, well, you know, what if somebody goes and paints it black and they go out and point it at a kid? Well, we took that into consideration too. And we painted ours black. Well, at least on one half of it, because we wanted to show you that, all right, maybe to an untrained eye, this could be construed as a rifle in the street, a 1/2 scale rifle. If you are a parent and you have one of these things, you give it to your kid and you let him go get a can of Krylon and paint it flat black and go outside into the street and start aiming it at cops and your kid gets clipped, well, you're a pretty crappy parent. So we're going to err on the side of reason and at least give that benefit to the cop, because, you know, something like this pointing at you may just be, you know, considered a rifle. But that's why, like anything else, adult supervision is required. But when you have something like this in the hands of a bunch of 10 and 12-year-olds running around in a courtyard or, you know, in a driveway shooting at one another, I think it's fairly safe to say that this is not a weapon of any kind. Now, behind me, got a couple of my favorite beverage cans over here. Got some Yoo-Hoos and some Seagram's ginger ale. We're going to see exactly how much damage one of these things can do to an empty soda can. Now, mind you, this has the ability to have select fire. You can fire one round at a time, or like I'm going to do now, full auto. My God, that's terrifying. Now, before I go show you the lack of damage, and we're not going to do any cutaways, I'm going to walk over there, I'm going to get a can, I'm going to bring it back over to you. Now, you see I had every one of them, and show you the kind of damage that was done to it. I want to show you something else. These are the glasses that this company is nice enough to provide when you buy one of their high-tech water pistols. Get ready for this. Don't try this at home. I'm a professional. I don't know about you, but a gelatin ball flying at 75 feet per second being claimed is going to cause some sort of property damage. I don't know about you. I don't know if it's overzealous policing. I don't know if it's New York City being upset that the Supreme Court just told them that the 5 boroughs are not special and you have to issue people their firing, you know, their gun permits. Not sure. But I'm going to walk over there. I'm going to grab one of these cans. I'm going to bring it back and let's see the kind of damage that this horrendous weapon has caused. Don't mind me, you're going to see me limping. Now, I did that from a distance of about 15 feet. There's a couple of little dents. No punctures. There's a couple little dents. No punctures. The only hole that's in these is where I enjoyed my Yoo-Hoo beverage. Shake them. It's great. But the whole point of today's video is just to call a little light onto something that is completely and totally ridiculous and the kind of things that we in the Second Amendment community have to battle all the time. And that's the ignorance that we see of people in the anti-gun community. Now, I understand that this one may look a certain way, but there are a variety of these kind of toys that look nothing like this. You could go and take off the little flash hider and suppressor thingy. They have ones that look like George Jetson's ray guns. They have ones that look like a box with a little round ball on the top that the ammunition sits in. The fact that we have these laws being blanketed across people where they're just completely and totally saying, hey, something fun? No, you can't have that. You've got to get this necessity that government seems to have to try and make everything into a nanny state issue and to govern us as though we're their children has got to stop. It's got to stop. You're depriving thousands of kids of a childhood, the ability to have a little fun in the hot summer. You're shooting a water pistol at a bunch of kids. Now, to put this into perspective for you, we looked at the New York City Municipal Code as it relates to their definition of what constitutes an air rifle. And I'm going to put that up here while I'm talking about this. And this is the actual post that the 44th Precinct put up on their Facebook page to brag about how they were taking these from kids. We went and we looked and we found that there are no less than 6 airsoft stores and or competition fields within the New York City 5 boroughs. We also found a bunch of indoor paintball fields within the 5 boroughs. Now, I used to play paintball many, many years ago, and a paintball is a lot different than one of these. It's a gelatin encapsulated ball of paint that you can freeze, and the diameter of the ball doesn't change. You could fire a frozen paintball from a paintball gun. At least you could a generation ago when I used to play. Airsoft guns, those little BBs, they can put a little bit of a sting on you. But both of those things fall under the definition that New York City Municipal Code used to confiscate this and turn this into an arrestable offense. Why is it that those businesses are allowed to continue operating using an item that the municipal code deemed illegal? Maybe it has something to do with how much money the city makes off of it and how little they make off of this. I don't know. But it's just something for you guys to think about. In the meantime, do yourself a favor. You want to have some fun? This was $49 with 10,000 rounds of ammunition. No, the scope doesn't work. There's no magnification. It's a little piece of plastic. The magazine, oddly enough, detachable. Little trap door right there. You load your BBs up into it. You put it in and start having some fun. Pick yourself up a couple of these. Go out in the backyard with the kids. Wear your safety glasses. Have some fun. Celebrate the little bit of freedom that these things give you before, some jackass in Washington, D.C. decides that these are going to fall under their new assault weapons ban. See, this is what happens when I'm injured and I'm home. I got nothing but free time on my hands. But listen, in the meantime, if you guys like the content, please do me a favor. Exchange a couple of comments down below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and all the rest of that. Share the video. Maybe you'll get a couple of laughs out of it. Maybe you don't. If anything, you get to see me shoot myself in the hand with a water pistol. So, as always, thanks for joining us back out here at the Range Report. You guys be safe and shoot straight.